Hey everyone, and welcome back to Talk Tickers. We love to dig into those earnings calls, and today we're taking a deep dive into InMode's Q4 and full year 2024 performance.
Their call just dropped February 6th, and yeah, there's a lot to unpack.
For those who haven't heard of them, InMode is a big player in the aesthetics world. Think minimally invasive procedures, body contouring, all the stuff that's been super popular lately.
Right, but 2024 was a little bit of a wild ride for the whole aesthetics industry, so we're going to see how InMode navigated that storm.
So let's start with the big picture. The headline numbers, what kind of year did they have?
Well, for Q4, they pulled in $97.9 million in revenue with a 79% gross margin.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, pretty solid. But if we look at the entire year, the revenue came in at $394.8 million, which is actually down 20% compared to 2023.
So a strong finish to the year, but overall, they definitely felt the industry slow down.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, InMode is known for those minimally invasive tech platforms. How did those perform?
Those are still their bread and butter. They made up 86% of Q4 revenue and 87% for the full year.
Wow, so demand is still strong there, even with everything going on in the economy.
It seems like maybe people are prioritizing those less invasive procedures.
Interesting. Anything else jump out at you from the numbers?
Yeah, actually, one thing that caught my eye was the growth in consumables and services revenue.
Oh, really? Tell me more about that.
So their share of revenue from consumables and services jumped from 16% in 2023 to 20% in 2024.
That's a pretty big increase. What do you think is driving that?
It could be a couple things. Maybe doctors are focusing more on treatments that generate recurring revenue. Things like consumables that patients need to buy regularly or services that keep them coming back.
Makes sense. Those are more predictable revenue streams.
Exactly. And it could also be a sign that doctors are a little hesitant to invest in those big equipment purchases right now.
Yeah, with interest rates as high as they are, that makes total sense.
Right. So they might be finding ways to utilize InMode's technology and keep their practices running smoothly without having to make those big upfront investments.
So even if equipment sales are down, InMode has this other revenue stream that's growing. Seems like a pretty smart strategy.
Yeah, I think so. It shows they're not just a one-trick pony. They've got a system that can adapt to different needs and economic conditions.
Okay, so we've talked about their U.S. performance, but InMode is a global company, right?
Oh, absolutely. They have a massive global footprint, over 260 direct sales reps and 87 distributors all over the world.
Wow. So what's the picture like internationally?
It's a similar story to the U.S. Unfortunately, in Q4, sales outside the U.S. were down 23% year over year, totaling $35.2 million.
Ouch.
And for the full year, international sales came in at $150 million, which is a 19% drop.
So this slowdown is definitely a global trend.
It seems that way. InMode's international performance is a good indicator of what's happening in the aesthetics market worldwide, and it's clear the industry as a whole is feeling the pressure.
Okay, so we've got the big picture now. Let's dig a little deeper. What did InMode's leadership have to say about the factors driving these results? What challenges are they up against?
Well, Moshe Mizrahi, the CEO, pointed to a couple key factors during the call.
Okay, let's hear it.
First, he said there's been a noticeable drop in demand for minimally invasive procedures. He estimated it to be somewhere between 20% and 25%.
Wow, that's significant.
Yeah, it's not insignificant. And then on top of that, those rising interest rates are making it a lot more expensive for doctors to lease those big pieces of equipment.
Yeah, financing a major purchase right now is not for the faint of heart.
Exactly. And we're talking interest rates of 12% to 14%, which can add up really quickly.
Ouch. Yeah, that's going to make a lot of doctors think twice before upgrading their equipment.
For sure. It's a tough environment out there, especially for businesses that rely on big ticket sales. And in a field like aesthetics, where people might be cutting back on discretionary spending, it adds another layer of complexity.
So given these challenges, how is InMode managing their capital? Are they hunkering down, or are they finding ways to be strategic?
Well, it looks like they're taking a proactive approach. They actually returned over $285 million to shareholders through stock buybacks in 2024.
Wow, that's a pretty substantial amount.
Yeah, it represents about 19% of their share capital, and they just approved a new share repurchase program for up to another 10% of their shares.
So they're doubling down on buybacks.
It seems like they expect to roll that new program out over the next 3 to 6 months.
So that's a big vote of confidence in their own stock, right? It says they believe it's undervalued.
Exactly. And it also suggests they're confident in their financial position, even with the headwinds they're facing.
That's good news for investors. But it also makes me wonder what else they might have up their sleeve. Any hints about potential acquisitions or other big moves on the horizon?
Well, they haven't announced anything specific, but InMode has a history of being pretty opportunistic, so I wouldn't rule anything out.
Yeah, they've never been shy about their interest in M&A.
Right, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Okay, so while they're returning capital to shareholders, they're also keeping their options open for strategic moves. It sounds like they're playing the long game.
Yeah, for sure. They're not just reacting to the current market conditions. They're thinking about the future and how to position themselves for continued growth.
Now, speaking of growth, let's talk about innovation. InMode is known for its cutting-edge tech, so what's new in their pipeline? What kind of product launches did we see in 2024?
Well, they had a couple of notable launches last year. They introduced the Igniter F and Optimas Max platforms.
Ooh, tell me more about those. What are they all about?
So the Igniter F platform is focused on radio frequency solutions for both aesthetic and surgical needs.
Okay, and what makes it special?
Well, it's got a lot of cool features, but the star of the show is this new Quantum RF handpiece.
Fancy.
It is. It's a new technology that can deliver RF energy to deeper tissue layers, which apparently leads to some pretty impressive results, all while maintaining that minimally invasive approach that InMode is known for.
So it's like the best of both worlds, powerful results without the downtime.
Exactly. And then the Optimus Max platform is all about versatility and efficiency.
I like the sound of that. Efficiency is key in any business, but especially in a busy practice.
Right. So it's a multi-application platform that's designed for speed, so doctors can treat more patients each day.
Okay, so it's all about maximizing productivity.
Exactly. And it also delivers more energy and better heat distribution, which they say leads to better outcomes for patients.
So better results and more efficient treatments. I can see why doctors would be excited about that.
Yeah, it's a win-win. And on top of those two new platforms, InMode has even more launches planned for this year, 2025.
Oh, really? What can we expect?
Well, they're being a little mysterious, but they did tease a fractional CO2 laser and another platform specifically for the medical market.
Hold on, a CO2 laser A&D, a new medical device? That sounds like they're really looking to branch out.
It does, doesn't it? It seems like they're making a strategic move to not only weather the current economic climate, but also expand into potentially less volatile sectors.
The medical market could definitely be more stable than the aesthetics market, which can be influenced by, trends and all that.
Right, exactly. So it's a smart move to diversify their offerings and tap into new markets.
Okay, so they're innovating and diversifying. But what about their outlook for 2025? What are they projecting in terms of performance?
Their guidance for 2025 predicts revenue between $395 million and $405 million.
So basically flat compared to 2024, not a huge growth story, but given the current market conditions, it's understandable that they're being cautious.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like they're aiming for stability and profitability in a year that's expected to be pretty unpredictable.
Makes sense. And what about their gross margin? Are they expecting to maintain those healthy margins?
They're projecting their non-GAAP gross margin to be between 80% and 82%.
Okay, so still very strong.
Yeah, they're definitely focused on keeping those margins healthy, even in a challenging market.
All right, so we've got the lay of the land with InMode. They're facing some headwinds for sure, but they're also showing resilience and strategic thinking. But before we move on to our favorite segment, this is not financial advice, I want to quickly recap what we've learned.
Sounds good. It's always helpful to summarize before we get into the more speculative stuff.
Exactly. So here's the takeaway. InMode's Q4 and full year 2024 results show us the challenges the aesthetics industry is facing globally. Demand is down, interest rates are up, and people are being more careful with their spending.
Right. It's a tough market out there.
But here's the thing. InMode isn't just sitting back and taking it. They're actively responding to these challenges.
Absolutely. They're not just riding out the storm. They're trying to chart a course for future growth.
They're returning capital to shareholders, investing in new product launches, and even diversifying their offerings beyond aesthetics.
Well said. It shows they're adaptable and thinking strategically, which is essential in a market like this.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so interesting to follow their journey.
Right.
All right. Are you ready for some outrageous but plausible trade ideas? Because it's time for our favorite segment. This is not financial advice.
Oh, yeah. Let's get speculative.
Okay, buckle up. What if? And this is where it gets wild. InMode decides to go all in on the metaverse.
The metaverse. Whoa. Okay.
I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out.
I'm listening.
The metaverse is all about these immersive digital experiences, right? And what's more personal and experience-driven than aesthetics?
Okay, I see what you're getting at, but how would InMode even play in that space? They're all about real-world physical treatments.
That's where it gets interesting. What if they partnered with metaverse platforms to create virtual clinics or spas?
Like a virtual try before you buy for cosmetic procedures?
Exactly. People could experiment with different treatments on their avatar, see how they look, visualize the potential results.
That's actually a really cool idea. It could help people overcome some of the hesitation they might have about getting real life procedures.
Right. And it could be a huge marketing tool for InMode.
Oh, yeah. Imagine showcasing their latest technologies in the metaverse. They could reach a whole new audience, especially younger people who are already spending tons of time in those digital spaces.
It could totally change the game for them.
I'm starting to see the potential here. They could even do personalized avatar consultations using AI and 3D imaging.
Right. Imagine getting personalized treatment recommendations before you even step foot in a real clinic.
It could be a whole new revenue stream for them, too. Think virtual consultations, subscriptions for premium aesthetic features, or even partnerships with virtual fashion brands.
Okay, you've officially convinced me the metaverse play for InMode is not as crazy as it sounded at first.
It's definitely out there, but it aligns with their focus on innovation, and it could give them a serious first mover advantage.
Plus, they could create virtual reality training programs for doctors or augmented reality experiences for patients during recovery.
Whoa, now you're really thinking big. But it makes sense the lines between the physical and digital worlds are blurring, and InMode could be at the forefront of that shift in the aesthetics world.
Exactly. Okay, so we've explored the metaverse now. Let's bring it back down to earth for a minute.
Right, gotta keep it real.
This is not financial advice segment.
Yeah.
After all, we're just having some fun and exploring possibilities.
Always good to remind everyone of that. But it is important to think about these different scenarios and how companies can adapt to new trends and technologies.
Absolutely. And InMode is definitely a company with the potential to make some big moves. They're innovative and they're in a strong financial position.
Totally agree. They're definitely a company to watch.
All right, are you ready for another wild idea?
Hit me with it.
Okay, what if InMode partners with a major cosmetics company to create a line of at-home beauty devices powered by their technology?
Ooh, like a mini Morpheus 8 you can use while watching Netflix. I'm intrigued.
Exactly. They could use their expertise in radio frequency, microneedling, and all that to create at-home devices that deliver professional-grade results.
So we're talking wrinkle reduction, skin tightening, even body contouring, all from the comfort of your own home.
Yep. And there's already a huge demand for at-home beauty tech, so InMode could really disrupt that market.
Imagine the marketing potential, too, that they could partner with a big beauty influencer or celebrity and reach a massive audience.
Oh yeah, the Instagram ads would be epic. But seriously, this could be a really smart move for InMode.
It would let them tap into a whole new market, generate recurring revenue through consumable sales, and maybe even reach people who are intimidated by in-office treatments.
And it could be a way to introduce people to their technology at a lower price point.
Right, and then those customers might be more likely to try professional treatments down the line.
It's a win-win. They expand their customer base, generate new revenue streams, and potentially drive future business for their core offering.
And don't forget about the data they could collect with connected at-home devices. They could learn so much about consumer behavior preferences and treatment results.
Okay, now you're making me want to buy some InMode stock.
Not so fast. Remember, this is not financial advice.
Of course, of course. But it's clear that InMode has a lot of potential, and they're approaching this tricky market strategically.
Agreed. They're a company to keep an eye on, for sure. They're not afraid to innovate, and they seem to be setting themselves up for success in the long run.
So you ready for one more wild idea?
Bring it on. Let's hear it. All right, how about this? What if InMode takes a page from the telehealth playbook and creates a platform for virtual aesthetic consultations?
Oh, interesting. So like a teledoc, but for Botox kind of thing?
Exactly. People could connect with licensed practitioners from anywhere in the world.
I like it.
Get personalized advice on treatment options.
Yeah?
Even schedule virtual follow-up appointments.
That could be huge, especially for people who live in rural areas or, don't have easy access to aesthetic clinics.
Right, and it could address some of those concerns about privacy and discretion that some people have.
It's true. Not everyone feels comfortable walking into a clinic and asking about, fillers or whatever.
Exactly, and think about the potential for global expansion, too.
Oh, yeah, they could connect with practitioners in different countries, tap into new markets. It's a whole new ballgame.
It really is. And they could leverage their existing technology to integrate their imaging software into the platform so practitioners can create personalized treatment plans and even simulate potential results.
That's so cool. It's like bringing the clinic to the patient virtually.
And they could even partner with other companies in the beauty and wellness space to offer a more holistic approach.
Interesting. What do you have in mind?
Like imagine virtual consultations that include recommendations for skincare products, supplements, or even lifestyle changes that complement the aesthetic treatments.
So it's not just about the procedures, it's about overall wellness.
Exactly. It's about creating an ecosystem that goes beyond the individual treatment and provides a more comprehensive and personalized approach to beauty and wellness.
Okay, you've convinced me InMode needs to make this happen.
Well, hold on. Remember, this is all hypothetical. This is not financial advice. We're just having some fun imagining what the future might hold for InMode.
Of course. Of course, but it's clear that InMode is a company that's not afraid to think big and innovate. They're facing some challenges right now, but they seem to be taking the right steps to set themselves up for success in the long term.
I agree. They've got a solid track record, a strong financial position, and they're committed to developing cutting-edge technology. It'll be fascinating to see what they do in the coming years and how they continue to evolve in this dynamic market.
Well said. And on that note, that's a wrap for this deep dive into InMode's Q4 and full year 2024 earnings call. Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers, where we break down the numbers and explore the possibilities so you don't have to. Until next time, happy investing, everyone.